All right, good morning. You should get your journal. Go ahead and sit down. We have a lot to do. We will be working solely in your journals today. To give you the most time, hurry up, please. Thank you so much. All right, good morning. Brennan, sit down. Thank you. Rohan, sit down, please. Don't poke people with the pencil, Justice. All right, listen up. I need your attention. Good morning. I hope you had a great, restful Monday and that you're ready for Tuesday and that you're more alive than first period. Huh? Wow, Jeff. Restful Monday, which is yesterday. Coming in today, I hope you have more energy. Oh, that's a good thing. Thank you, Joseph. All right, listen up. Okay, let's start with the fun fact, and then we're going to get right into what we're doing. So we're going to start with the fun fact, and that is when dinosaurs ruled the Earth, the planet was completely on the other side of the galaxy. I know it's crazy. The sun orbits the galaxy center, completing its rotation every 250 million years, meaning our planet was on the other side of the galaxy. What? Okay, so let's see this in motion, shall we? So we are a spiral galaxy, right? So if this is the sun here on this rotational path, and here, the Earth 250 million years ago was on this side of the galaxy.
Oh, what? Don't we orbit?
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Wait, did we start at the end and then we went in?
So if you were to go from here to here, back here, it takes 250 million years.
That means in like 250 light years.
And since we are, how old is the planet? Excuse me, how old is the planet?
Billions of years.
4.5 billion years old. So this has happened several times, right?
That's like 6-7 times.
Yeah.
17. What happened
Yeah.
again?
Wait, isn't it in the Bible it says 6 or 7?
No.
Okay. So today, listen up, guys. Today we are going to develop a claim evidence reasoning. Do you remember that from a couple of weeks ago in quarter one?
Wait, when we were talking about dinosaurs, why did we say dinosaurs ruled the Earth?
Because they were the alpha of Earth. They were the dominant species.
Yeah, like a alpha species of the whole dinosaur existence.
That would be the highest of the food chain, which was T-Rex.
Oh, wait, the T-Rex?
Was the highest carnivore. He was
It also means Tyrant King, by the way.
There you go. All right, so let's get started. I need your attention. Max, thank you so much. All right, so I am going to go over some examples of how to build a claim evidence reasoning, or a CER. Y'all might remember doing this in first quarter when we talked about how the Astros were awesome and they were going to win the World Series, but unfortunately I was wrong in my evidence.
I'm so glad Nat's would have.
I'm so
Glad.
We watched
upset. Okay. Anyways, let's listen up, please. Okay, so we are going to be working in our journals, which means that we are going to have a journal grade because this is going to be something that's in your journal. So I'm going to be checking for the times that we're taking notes and writing down definitions and stuff, making sure that you have that grade in the grade book. That will help boost your grade, okay? And then, so I need you to start a page CER, and I need you to just take some notes on what a CER is. So claim, evidence, reasoning. And I want you to realize that we have done this several times, and I don't think that you quite understand how many times you've actually done it. As scientists, we need to be able to take information in, understand it, and repeat it back to people factually, right? We need to have facts in there. And then we also need to make sure that your understanding is based on evidence, right? Yes, that's what we need to do. That's how science happens. All right. So, do you need something?
Wait, so we call it CER.
CER, yes. Okay. So, an expectation for a claim. It is a statement of the student's understanding about the phenomenon or the result of an investigation. All right. So, think back to our plate tectonics phenomenon. Yes?
Can you write that down?
You can write some sketch notes. So if you say claim, it needs to be one answer, and then it can't say yes or no. However you want to take notes. I'm not going to micromanage. I just want to see that you have an understanding of the expectation of you. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So how do you take notes in math?
Write it down.
You write it down. So I'm not asking you to write word by word. I'm asking you to interpret the data and write down something that if you looked back onto it, you would be able to say, I know what the expectation is from this that I wrote down. That's the product of notes, is that you understand what you're writing and that it's useful to use in the future. So if you are writing shorthand and you don't remember what your shorthand is that useful? No, it's not. So write something that you would understand, that you can look back on your data and be able to pull information from your own words, okay? That's what I'm asking you to do. All right, this should be one sentence answers to question, to get the question you investigated. So think back to your phenomenon, okay? And everybody had something different that they had to research. And the claim of that was what? The motion or the action that happened, right? So if you were given, let's say, Mount Everest, your claim was that Mount Everest was formed by two convergent plate boundaries. It's to the point, it's one sentence, and it is an answer to the investigated question. Okay? Yes?
Okay, so I kind of wrote one.
Oh, please don't write on this.
Wait.
This is a classroom copy. Please do not write on this. Like I said, we are taking notes only in our journals.
Oh, I thought you
Mount
said
Everest was formed
Nope.
by-
So it says, so what do you do for reasoning? Do you like link back to the claim?
Okay, can I go through my lecture first? Thanks. All right, so it answers and then what you can conclude. So what can you get from this? What can we say about two convergent plate boundaries colliding together? Especially if they're continental, what's going to happen? That's wherever we leave that open. I'm just giving an example right now. Okay, and then the last part, I noticed that when you write as 7th graders, we kind of tend to write as we talk. And sometimes that is not bad, especially if it's like poetry or something like that. But in this case, as scientists, when you start your claim, it shouldn't be, yes, it got extinct from this, or no, that didn't happen because of this. That's not really scientific. It's almost answering a question and then stating your evidence, which is not how scientists write, okay? So make sure whenever you are giving answers or making claims, that is not going to start with yes or no's. And then the last part for your claim is that it should describe the relationship between a dependent and an independent variable. So what is a dependent variable? Something that depends on something else. This data depends on this action because that is how it was formed. So what about independent?
I think that changes.
Something that can change. So can data change? Yeah. Can you collect multiple data and it be very different? Yes. So sometimes the independent variable is the one that changes your data the most. So this can be a time frame, it could be weather, it could be temperature, it could be a lot of different things that are independent that you cannot control, okay? All right, so let's move into evidence. Your evidence is scientific data used to support your claim. This should be sufficient. It uses evidence to support your claim, okay? It has to have some substance. It shouldn't be one sentence long. Think probably around 3 to 5 sentences just to be able to give information. Next one, it should be appropriate for the data. So if you're collecting data, it should reflect what the research is actually about, okay? Your evidence shouldn't mention your thoughts or feelings. Those do not belong in any kind of evidence because they are not qualitative or quantitative. Does that make sense? So if I put my opinion or my thought process into evidence, that's not qualitative, which is what? Do you remember what qualitative evidence is? Yes.
It describes the physical features.
Perfect. It's describing the physical features, and quantitative is what, Justice?
Numbers.
Numbers. So data that has research behind it that's already provided for you. This can be time spans. This can be depths. This can be phenomenon that has data collected from it, like marker beakings of certain atmospheric temperatures or something like that. Okay? Or it can be a combination of both. Does everybody have that? No. Okay. And so the last period said it would make more sense, Ms. Roche, if you didn't say reasoning, but you almost said conclusion. And I kind of agree with that. I think that in your reasoning, it should be a conclusion of your data. Okay? This is where you can put your thoughts and opinions in that back up the data. Does that make sense? So we don't have thoughts and opinions and evidence. It's just qualitative and quantitative data. And then in your reasoning is where you start to put in your opinions of what may happen. You can conclude what you think the chain reaction may be. You can conclude that this happened because of this. So that's where you put your cause and effect kind of thing in. And it shows how or why the data is evidence to support the claim. So your claim is no good if you can't reason it, or if you can't make a conclusion off of it. Does that make sense? We got a thumbs up, head nods. Okay. I'm going to scroll up just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to have this up here. It's okay. It provides justification. What is justification? Justified. So if you were to justify something, what are you doing for it?
You're basically explaining you're explaining why it's right.
You're explaining why it's right, but you're also giving it value, right? You're making sure that I understand that this data is your reflection of what you know. Please keep your hands to yourself. Thank you. And this also includes one or more scientific principles that are important to claim and evidence. So we've talked about some scientific principles. One of those, I don't know if you remember, is density, right? What happens to density? What is the scientific principle of density? If it's heavier, where will it go?
Down.
To the bottom. If it is lighter, it will go where? On the top. And that is everywhere in the universe, right? Everywhere on our planet is subject to density, to include the Earth's layers. That is a scientific principle that is bound by our planet. Another one that you can mention is gravity. Those are all things that are scientific principles. They are seen from the scientific perspective that these are laws of our universe, okay? All right. Moving on. You have a piece of paper on the table that looks like this. Please do not write on it. This is a classroom document. So you're going to have a little paragraph here that kind of introduces what's going on here. And it's going to present you some information on what they actually did as a team and what they were researching, okay? Underneath that is their evidence, right? It has some qualitative data here. And this figure here, is this qualitative or is this quantitative evidence?
It's quantitative.
It's quantitative because why?
Because it says 66.25 million years ago, and it says 72.1 to 66 million.
Perfect. It's giving you numbers. It's giving you a date range of when this map was relevant, that this impact happened, okay? So if you turn it over, you're going to see another map, but it's a little stretched out. This is kind of giving you a world view. Is this qualitative or quantitative? It's quantitative because?
Below it says that they're about 40 kilometers diameter and they're like 40 kilometers diameter crash in west map of the history Shiva.
So we're on the back right now, Justice.
Ocean map.
Yeah, right here. Is this qualitative or quantitative? Quantitative because it shows numbers. It's showing you where things hit. I would say this is qualitative. It's not giving you numbers, but it's giving you a map of where things actually impacted and what the aftermath was like, okay? But underneath it is your quantitative. This is his evidence that he is supporting his claim, okay? This is where he's giving you those numbers and reflections of data. He's not putting his personal opinion in here, okay? At the end, you're going to see this chart, and you're going to see something that we've been studying. What are those bones? What kind of fossils are those?
Dinosaur.
Dinosaurs, but what do we call those that identify a layer? Index fossils. These index fossils gave them a time range of when they were looking, okay? So they needed to be able to dig down enough to see where this phenomenon happened, and they used index fossils to let them know that they were in the right area. Because we've been talking about index fossils, you should know that index fossils are more than just fossils in a layer. They tell us about relative and absolute time. And that's what he was doing here. He was giving a time range based on those and what the sediment, what is sediment? Rock that has been broken down, okay? And what? And formed into a new rock. Perfect. I could explain that even better myself. Okay, so it's rock that's been broken down from erosion or weathering, and it has formed another rock by laying down. And what is that called whenever we do lines? When sediment lays down in lines, it's the law of what?
It's extrusion.
Superposition, okay? So if you look on there, you're going to see laws of superposition, and you're going to be able to go down to a certain range and get that data. Okay, I want you to understand that this is kind of connecting everything that we've done between index fossils, identifying fossils, sedimentation and the laws of sedimentation, and then tomorrow we're going to do an actual activity that involves Plato and you taking core samples to identify those layers. So, but today we are going to start as scientists and build our claim evidence reasoning. Okay, so here's the thing. I will let you work in partners or you can work by yourself. However, this is a grade. It is a journal grade. It is part of that journal grade. I would advocate if you are not in a productive couple or partner that this is not a learning environment for you and that you need to move on or either do it by yourself, okay? Because it is a grade and this is also kind of like a review, I want you to be very serious about this. So last period we had some conversations that derailed and then they didn't get anything done. How do you think that's going to reflect in their journal?
Not very good.
Not very good. So please advocate for yourself if you feel like your partner is getting sidetracked or that you're not getting the right information. And if we get lost, what should we do?
Ask for help.
Ask for help. Great. All right. So if you want to get in partners, go ahead and get in partners. No more than 2, please, so that we can be productive. Make sure you're at a table and not on the floor or anything like that. And then you should build a claim, an evidence, and a reasoning in your journal. I know. last period was. Yes, you can put them below your notes, or it can go to the next page. Okay, we took far.
Can I go to my locker to get another notebook?
Why?
Online? Like,
No, I think we're good for right now. We'll figure that out in a little bit. Robert? So I'm going to leave this up here for you, and it would benefit you since you weren't here for the first claim evidence reasoning if you had a partner. Okay?
Can I look at the document really quickly to jot down something right here?
What document? Oh, yeah. Where do you need me to go? I'll just put it up here. Okay, evidence it is.
I'm still confused. So we do.
You're building a claim, an evidence and reasoning from the document that you're given.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Sandra, do you have a partner? Okay. Jeffrey, do you have a partner? Can you come? Oh, I was going to say, can you come work with Robert? Because he wasn't here last time that we did claim evidence reasoning. If you can kind of help him. I'll allow one group of 3 if you want to go and work with them. So that way they can point you in the right direction. Or you can work with them.
Yep, the better claim really quickly.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Got it. Do you need this part up here? Okay. Yes, Justice.
are we writing a claim about like this? Or
So you're reading the entire thing.
Yep.
And then you're going to develop a claim from everything you've read.
Okay.
About everything on there.
Okay.
And then your one sentence claim should go into your evidence. Your evidence should be qualitative and quantitative, and it should not have any opinions of justice, just information. In your reasoning or your conclusion, that's where you can draw a big picture of what may have happened. Okay?
Okay. Wait. So we're writing down notes from.
So you're building a claim evidence reasoning from these. Yes.
So basically, we read the whole thing.
All right. Can I get your attention, please? Clap if you can hear me. Clap if you can hear me. Okay. So you are reading this document, and you are basing your claim, evidence, and reasoning off of this document. We've had some questions, and that's what I want you to do, is make sure that you're reading this document and that you're basing your claim, your evidence, and your reasoning from this. The first thing you should do is what? Read it, front and back. Develop your information, take it in, and then start your project. Okay, go ahead.
So we're writing out the claim evidence and reasoning.
Uh-huh.
Are we gonna do? Oh yeah. Are we gonna do it like claim?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Yep. Ladies, I'm gonna need you to focus. Yeah. What?
I'm wondering stars right now.
No, it needs to be able to track me, and it was stuck. Riley, you have got to work. You need to build a claim, evidence, reasoning.
I know of paper.
What?
I know of paper. I know of partner.
Well, not everybody has a partner, but you can still do this on your own. You're a smart guy. So the first thing you're going to do is read everything, okay? And once you've read everything, you're going to base a claim. So read this, and I'll come back and I'll check on you. But you can make sure that you're doing claim, and then you have your evidence and your reasoning, okay?
That's not the claim.
Evidence that supports everyone includes large amounts of dang it, beer.
Oh yeah,
Have y'all developed a claim yet?
I'm working on it.
You're working on it? What about?
Trying to figure out how to word it though.
So what is your thought process so far?
I was thinking that I could explain that the scientists discovered that dinosaurs went extinct from something from space crashing into the earth.
So was the extinction from the crash or something else?
It says from idiom.
I would read right here again, and then see what you might get from that again. Okay? What's your claim?
We just finished reading.
There was an
Okay.
element that
That dinosaurs were alive 65 million years ago.
Okay,
died out 65 million years ago.
but what made him die out?
This
That big
element,
asteroid.
Are you sure that's what made him die?
Well, that's what they said.
yeah. So
They're not sure.
I would reread this section right
They're
here.
not sure though.
It actually tells you exactly how they died. So I would reread again.
A comet.
That did what?
Trapped again, forming 66.25 million years ago.
I see you. Hold on.
Ejected sediment into the atmosphere.
Oh,
was
there we
found
go.
to photosynthesis
it.
around the world.
Okay, so how can we word that based on what you have read?
an asteroid.
A claim.
65 million years ago, the dinosaurs died out because of the comet. Because of the comet.
Okay, that's good. And then in your evidence, you can put what?
The comet held sediment that led to a
Held
decrease-
sediment or caused?
caused sediment
Okay,
which led to a decrease in photosynthesis.
okay.
Around
So
the
and then I would give evidence because of what we know of the weather.
Would you say on
And
like line 2 or like, or what would we say?
no, you don't have to reference it if that's what you mean.
Okay.
Okay, so what I want you to do is be able to, one, that was a good claim. And then second, your evidence will be quantitative and quantitative. So you'll take the data that they present, not only numbers, but facts that you just read.
We need to find
It could include, so what they're showing right here is that layer of ash. This is the sediment layer that was in our atmosphere that fell all over the world. And then in your reasoning, you can conclude what would happen. If you don't have photosynthesis, you don't have plants. If you don't have plants, what happens?
There's no oxygen.
There's no oxygen and
We gotta find the claim.
food for the dinosaurs. But what dinosaurs?
The vegetarians.
The herbivores.
Same thing.
Vegetarians.
So if herbivores can't eat and they die,
And then the carnivores can't eat and they die.
thus
Everyone dies.
the extinction. Do you see how you put all that together? Now put it in words.
Can we like word it basically how you worded it, but like in our words?
Yes. That's how you get data. Yes.
never mind.
Oh, okay. A massive impact. A comment. Extinction of dinosaurs. Ooh, I can't move anymore, says the swivel saying, I can't move anymore.
Recent discoveries
All right.
have led some scientists to believe that the extinction.
One what?
Can you fix your voice, please? Sentence.
Huh?
Sentence.
Oh, one sentence. Okay. So what is your one? Died out. There's an asteroid hit the comet. Okay. So what is your evidence?
They died out of a comet or an asteroid. I don't care. Now it's an evidence.
How did they die again?
They got hit by a comet.
I would read this part again.
They got hit by a comet or multiple comets.
No, the land got hit by a comet.
And then photosynthesis died out dead.
Oh, so qualitative is the information.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know the difference between qualitative and quantitative, and I don't even know the meaning.
That's honest of you. I'm a little sad because we went over it 3 times. But if it has numbers, it's quantitative, like quantity. Like when you go to the grocery store and it says, put in the quantity of bananas on the scale. You put in 3 because that's how many bananas you bought.
I just cheat and put in 1.
That's stealing, and he's going to go to jail. For stealing bananas.
At least I'm not the only one who shot this.
As you're going to jail, I stole a banana. Okay, so read this section again and see what kind of quantitative and qualitative, which is the quality of the information.
Yeah, let's go with E.T. Walks.
Okay, so if you look at this information, it's going to give you what happened to the Earth and the atmosphere after that comet hit. I think a lot of people are getting sidetracked because comets are cool and that they are focusing on that's what happened. But if we look at all of the information, it's not about the comet hitting. It's about the aftermath, right?
Yeah, it's about that.
It's about what happened after. So don't focus your energy on the actual comet hitting or what it holds, but more of the impact of how it affected life on Earth. Let that be your guide, okay? I'll check in with you in a minute. How are we doing? It's like the power couple here.
I've known him since I was 3 months old.
Oh, that's sweet.
We used to be neighbors.
Yeah, but then
Oh, very smart kiddos. Must be something in the water. So what you got? Your claim is...
that dinosaurs went
I see you, Brooke.
due to multiple comet impacts.
Okay.
Alvarez hypothesis.
Okay. So if I were to read this section again and focus on not so much the impact, but the aftermath. So his research is all about what happened after the impact. I wouldn't concentrate on the actual impact itself or what it left behind. I would concentrate on a claim evidence reasoning that comes from the data that he's supporting of what happened after.
So, like, what I said was dinosaurs went extinct due to the multiple impact hypothesis and due to the Alvarez hypothesis.
I would shorten that because that's more than a sentence. It's like a run-on. So I would say that due to multiple impacts, boom, and that'd be it.
Okay.
And then your evidence would state what his hypothesis was.
We have, like, the multiple impact hypothesis states that scientists have discovered the Shiva crater in India and the Boltus crater in Ukraine were both meteor impacts.
Okay, and then what happened?
And so it is also discovered the Alvarez hypothesis that when they hit, it injected sediment into the atmosphere.
That's what I want to focus on. And so then it gives you information on date ranges. I would include that in your evidence. And then in your reasoning is your conclusion. If there's no photosynthesis, what's going to happen?
No plants, no herbivores, no herbivores, no carnivores.
No carnivores, no life.
What about the oxygen level? Ah. So I would put that all in reasoning. Okay?
Reasoning or evidence?
That's your reasoning. Because that's you taking evidence and moving it forward. Okay? Because it doesn't mention about the side effects of... You're taking it and saying, this is what could have... Yes. Do you understand that part now? Great.
So the evidence wouldn't be about the aftermath. It would be the reason.
It would be, the evidence needs to have the facts that you have now, but and to include the atmosphere, and then I would include date ranges and where they found that evidence, and to include your index fossils. And then when you take your reasoning, you're going to take that information and then you're going to build on to the narrative that you just said about the chain reaction of what happened. And that explains the mass extinction. It wasn't the comet that caused the dinosaurs to die. It's not like the movie, right? It's not like the movie where you saw this big ball of, you know, like an Armageddon type thing that covered the world in flames. That's not what happened. It was a slow and painful death for most of the dinosaurs on Earth because they starved.
That got directly hit by it. Some of them.
There was mercy, yes, but then there was also the underwater ones, which we still have relatives of now. So aviation and water dinosaurs were able to pass on their DNA and adaptate to make themselves smaller because there wasn't enough oxygen to support great growth. And so it's just a chain reaction. So instead of megadons, we just have great whites. You see that? Okay.
No, you're not.
Gentlemen, I need you to focus. If I have to draw my attention back to you one more time, we'll be signing the book. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so what is your claim?
And Walter Oliveras believe that a crater hit and extinction
Was happening?
is
Is happening? Was?
was. Yes, was.
So how about so they believe that a crater hit and extinction happened.
But didn't that it caused it to happen? So like,
But was happening does not make sense. It would say, and extinction happened. Because you have to make it past tense. And this is passive past tense, which is not correct. So for you to be able to read this out loud and get the information back, it needs to say extinction happened. Okay? So what's your evidence?
65 million years.
I love your handwriting. It's so easy to read. I so appreciate it.
65 million years ago, dinosaurs went extinct. Lewis and Walter Oliveras believe that a massive comet or asteroid triggered this. There was large amounts of iron
Interim.
in the rock layer during that time. The discovery of the Chase crater in the Gulf of Mexico is the same period of time.
Okay. What actually caused the extinction, though? Was it the impact or was it the aftermath? Go ahead and go. Are you sure? So read this section again. And then tell me what they actually researched.
Oh, my hand is
So what is photosynthesis? It's how plants get their food. If they don't have food, they can't give off oxygen. If they can't give off oxygen and they can't get food, the plants die. If the plants die, what happens?
The dinosaurs can't. Like, no, there's no food.
There's no food for the herbivores, so the herbivores would die. And once the meat source of herbivores died, what would happen to the carnivores?
They wouldn't have any.
They wouldn't have anything, and they would die. So is the mass extinction from the comet, or is it because of the aftermath of the comet?
Aftermath.
Ah, okay. So let's reword this, okay? Hold on, I'll be right back. You read it? So where are you going to get a claim as?
I need help.
Okay. Hold on one second. This is just a figure showing what they found. So this is. So now now that you've read this, you're going to develop a claim. Your claim should state what you think happened. So what happened?
I became Bob the Builder.
Let's focus, Riley. That's inappropriate in school. Sit on your chair correctly, and I need you to start really focusing because lately we haven't been where we need to be in class, okay? So let's start here. So what does this tell you about what you need to be talking about? What happened? A crater hit Earth. And then what happened?
Killing off the dinosaurs.
Okay. So your claim can be something along the lines of that. And I'll come back. Okay. Hold on 1 second.
This is an okay claim.
Okay.
Dinosaurs extinct from several asteroids sending sediment into the atmosphere.
Okay.
Sediment is primarily found in meteors and asteroids. Sediments in the atmosphere cause photosynthesis and plastic waves events from asteroids.
This is all just your claim?
No, this is
Oh. Okay. So the claim is what? Where does it start? Okay. So that's a claim. This is your evidence.
Yes.
Okay.
and then
Explanation is right here? Yeah. Okay. And sediments in the atmosphere.
in the atmosphere cause photosynthesis so the dinosaurs died of starvation. And then the asteroids cause dinosaurs.
Lack of what? Oh, food. Okay. So what does that tell you about what the Earth looked like? So what processes do we know from everything we've learned when we think about convection cells and stuff, when it says that the sediment was taken all around the world, so even though it impacted here, it was still felt all around the world because weather happens in our troposphere, which is the closest layer in our atmosphere to Earth. Those have convection cells. As that sediment went into the air, it was carried throughout and put almost like a blanket over our planet. So our planet looked like a big dust ball. You couldn't see any blue whatsoever. If you were to go to space and look down, you wouldn't see any blue whatsoever. Because of that, it also took away the oxygen because that's what plants derive from, right? That's what they give us back. If they didn't give out oxygen, not only would it suffocate them and starve them, but then you would... Right, and so we went from megadons to great whites because the lack of oxygen didn't allow them to grow anymore. The reduced amount of oxygen. The reason why dinosaurs got so big was that before this event happened, there was an abundance of oxygen. So just like a fish in a tank, it will only grow as size allows it to, right? It will not outgrow its environment. Because there was so much oxygen, they were allowed to grow freely. And so they became huge, massive lizards because of the oxygen in the lip. Because of the oxygen decreased, everything started to adaptate. And so when we go into our next unit and we talk about the changes that were made, this is the event that triggered a lot of those adaptations also. Okay? Good job.
Is this good?
Read it to me.
Okay. The claim was 65 million years ago, dinosaurs died out because of a comet. Evidence Luis Alvarez and his son believed that the comet ejected sediment into the atmosphere, which led to the decrease of photosynthesis. Reasoning. After sediment ejected into the atmosphere and decreased photosynthesis, the plants eventually died out and destroyed the food chain until all the dinosaurs died out.
I would add in that the oxygen levels probably decreased also. And the reasoning that the oxygen levels decreased. And this was a triggering event for every kind of species left behind, right?
Okay, so
Okay.
oxygen levels.
You can get out 35. Okay.
So for our thing, we have some reasoning, but we didn't really learn much.
So what? The last thing you said.
Sorry, my words just mixed.
Yeah, I was like, what is that word that she just
Do
said?
we need to add more?
Add more. Okay. Yes. I would add in what you think the chain reaction was. So if we don't have plants and they're not producing what do we get from trees? Oxygen. If they don't have oxygen to give out and they're not surviving, So a food source and oxygen source is gone. So how do you think that affected the food chain of the world?
They all died.
So the mass extinction wasn't from a comet like in the movies where you see like an Armageddon type boiling sky of, redness. That's not what happened. It was slow and painful and bad. It is sad, but that's how it happened. So if you were to go out into space and look at our planet, you would see a dust ball. So there was no oxygen. So the reason why dinosaurs got so big was that they had an overabundance of oxygen. They could grow as much as they wanted to because they could breathe in all they wanted. But with the reducing of oxygen, things started to adaptate, which when we go into our next unit and we talk about Darwinism and the survival of the fittest, the things that did survive that mass extinction decreased in size. Think Magnodon to great white. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. At this time, you should be almost done. The bell is about to ring. Thank you for all of your hard work. Make sure that these papers are in the middle of your table and that you are turning your journals in so that I can grade them. Perfect. And your evidence would be what?
I can 5 you.
Increase in photosynthesis around the world. So whenever plants die, what happens?
Oxygen goes down.
Yep.
Down.
Oxygen goes down, and can the herbivores eat? Nope, there's no plants. What happens to the carnivores if they don't have dinosaurs to eat?
They die.
They died too. All right, so add something right here. Yes. No, in the basket. Could you imagine how thick that would be if I tried to put all of them in there? No. All right, so make sure that your papers are left here, the classroom documents. Turn in your journals. If you have anything that needs to be turned in for a grade that's missing in IC, please do so. The bell should be ringing any second.
30 seconds.
Good job, guys. Chloe. Yes. Okay, give me just a sec. Don't forget your water bottle. Have a fantastic day. I'll see some of y'all later. Good job staying focused.
I'm back.
Have a great day. You're welcome.
Goodbye. Finish the reasoning yet?
Okay.
Can I finish it tomorrow?
Go ahead and take it with you because I'm going to be grading them tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
that is homework.
Yep. You're welcome. Have a good day.